Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of Bitpocalypse. This is going to be episode 2, and this is of course the series in which I'm going through my entire Steam library and playing every game for at least 30 minutes. After those 30 minutes of gameplay, I'll kind of give you my general thoughts about the game based on those 30 minutes of gameplay and any gameplay I have prior to that event, because there are some games that I have played before on my Steam library, and then I'll either recommend the game or I won't. These are going to be completely subjective recommendations and 100% biased, based on whether I like them. So if it's a really good FPS, but I don't like it, I'm not going to recommend it. That's what you can kind of expect from this series. And today we're going to be playing a rather interesting game for me. It's interesting because I actually didn't want to buy it. I saw the game, there was a core mechanic that I was like, that doesn't really seem that entertaining to me. And that caused me kind of to look over it, and I'll go over what that mechanic is when we're actually in the game. But then I got a text message from my friend, and he was like, "Hey, we haven't played a game in a while. Let's buy this game and play it together." So I was like, all right. And I purchased it. We played it, and 7 hours later, we stopped playing our first instance of it. And goddamn, was I wrong? This game is awesome, and I'm really enjoying it. So basically what it is an action platformer with roguelike elements. Basically what those are is you find items along the way as you progress levels, and they increase your statistics and make you stronger and hopefully make it so you don't die and you beat the last boss. So we're just gonna kind of jump in here and start single player game. The first thing you'll notice is there are multiple characters. Each character has its own kind of unique skill set, but they are kind of based on the same role for each skill. What I mean by that is your first skill is always going to be kind of your spammy shoot, doesn't have a cooldown skill. Your second skill for the most part seems to be some sort of CC or crowd control. Then your third skill is defensive, except for this guy. This guy doesn't have no defensive skill, but for the most part all of these guys have their defensive skill on their third skill. And then the fourth one's kind of like their quote-unquote most powerful or ultimate skill, which seems to have the longest cooldown most of the time. And all the characters so far are really unique. There aren't that many, or there aren't any that kind of feel like you're playing the same character. They all have kind of a different mindset that you have to get into. And I think that's great. It provides a lot of variety for people that are like, oh, I don't like this character, but, maybe they'll like one of the other ones and have fun that way. It also provides a lot of replayability, because not only is it a different game every time you play it, but you can also play it as different characters every time. So then it's a completely different game. But for this video, we're going to go as Huntress. She seems to be my favorite character just because she can shoot in the direction that she's not running in. And I think that's amazing. So her abilities are Strafe, fire an arrow for 140% damage. You can shoot all skills while moving. Laser Glaive, throw a glaive that bounces to up to 4 enemies for 300% damage, increases by 30% per bounce. Blink, teleport forward a small distance. And Cluster Bomb, fire an explosive arrow for 320% damage. The arrow drops bomblets that detonate for 6 times 80% damage. Now, I'm controlling these menus with the mouse because it's not 100% controller compatible, but I will be playing the actual game with my PS3 controller. So after we push play, I'm 100% controller. And let's get started. So this is what the game looks like. I actually think it looks really great. You can kind of jump around, platform. It is a platformer after all, so there's a lot of platforming elements. But for the most part, enemies spawn, you kill them, which I'm having a little bit of trouble with, but you kill them and they drop gold and experience points. And the gold you use to acquire items to make yourself stronger so that you hopefully don't die to all the bosses and enemies. Now, to get the items, you actually have to use gold to get them. I think I mentioned that before, but you can do that in shops, or you actually have to use gold to open all the treasure chests as well. See, as you can see here, this treasure chest requires 25 gold to open. We push X or square on my PS3 controller, and the item happens. It's a fire shield. Retaliate on taking heavy damage. I don't really know what that means. I haven't really noticed if that's happened ever to me, but it sounds like a nice item, so we'll pick it up. There's no reason not to pick it up. And the items, for the most part, are passive, but there is one slot that you can hold a use item. And they tend to have like a 45-second cooldown, and they tend to have really good effects. So as you can see here, this is why I like the Huntress. She can move while shooting, and I just think that's way better than not being able to do that. And the main thing here is you want to get past this level. Now, the mechanic that I was talking about earlier that I thought I wouldn't like at all is, you can see it up there in the upper right hand corner, how there's a timer and it says difficulty very easy. Now, what this does is every 5 minutes that pass in the game, it goes up a difficulty level. So from very easy to easy to from easy to medium, I believe, then medium to hard, then insane, then it gets ridiculous from there. And you know, I thought about that, and I was like, oh, I don't really like that. What if I want to kind of take my time and get my bearings in the game before I kind of jump to the next level? You know, I don't want to rush through this game. I want to enjoy it. But it actually kind of presents an overlying choice that you have to make as the player. Do you want to rush through the game and try to beat it before the enemies get really hard? Or do you want to kind of spend your time and gather as many items as you can so you actually can fight off harder enemies and just have an easier time in the harder difficulty modes? And I really like that. There's an opportunity to kind of change the core game, I guess, if whether you want to speedrun it or kind of go for the hard mode bosses. And now here's the teleporter, and what that means is you activate it, and then you have to kind of survive for 90 seconds while onslaughts of enemies and one boss spawns. Then after the 90 seconds stop, you have to just kill the remaining enemies on the screen or on the level. No more will spawn, and then the teleporter becomes usable, and you can go to the next zone. This is really fun. I like the whole kind of not boss rush, because there's only one boss, but enemy rush that it kind of does in every level. It just it puts you on edge, man. The adrenaline gets pumping in the later levels when the enemies are like goddamn impossible to defeat, and it's crazy. It may not look hard right now because I'm just kind of kiting these back and forth, but this game is not easy in any stretch of the imagination. It's so hard. And the bosses, you can see their health there at the top. There's actually a wide variety of them, and they always drop one item. So if you don't kind of get enough gold to purchase items in the level, you will at least get one item from the boss drop. That being said, if you don't have any items, you probably won't be able to beat the bosses, but I mean, that's up to you, man. Other than that, the items, I said there's passives and then there's a usable item. There's also kind of assault drones that you can get, which follow you around and shoot the enemies for you. I'll see if I can find one. They're really cool, and it's the reason, or the way I beat the game, the only time I've beaten it so far, is I had, I think, 7 or 8 of the assault drones, all shooting the last boss while I just kind of ran around trying not to die. And I mean, it worked, so, you know, the drones seem really powerful. Now, see, it says remaining enemies 3. I just have to clean them up, and then I can move on to the next zone. 2 left, we'll take care of those rather quickly. And see, here's that decision making time I was talking about. Either I can just rush the next zone, get there before the difficulty changes to easy or even higher, or I can kind of walk around in this zone and try to get more items before progressing. And I think I'm going to do the second option, just because the game gets a lot more interesting when the enemies get harder. So here's a better treasure chest, which actually gave us the same item the boss did, and here's one of the drones. So you repair it, and it follows you around. I believe this one is a healing drone. It just, when I get injured, it kind of sends a beam of healing to me, and I'll regenerate, I think, 5 HP per second or something. So there's a wide variety of them, and they're actually really useful. So I'm going to try to find as many drones as I can, and as many items as I can. I mean, I'm not going to prioritize drones over items. I'm just going to try to get, you know, as beefy as possible. This is actually, here's a use item, and I'll buy it just for the sake of showing you guys a use item. And this one's actually my favorite one. You can create a shadow partner for 15 seconds. And what that means is when I use it, see how I'm only shooting 1 arrow right now. When I use it, I'll be shooting 2. And all of my abilities get doubled because I have this shadow partner now. And it's just ridiculously powerful. But it does have a higher cooldown than most of the other use items. I think I saw it as 70 seconds there instead of like 50 or whatever the other ones are. But it's really, really good. And most of the use items seem to be, you know, better than the passive items in general. But I think it's because they have that cooldown and there needs to be, you know, some sort of incentive to use it. So I'm going to be getting Paul's goat hoof here. And that lets me run a little bit faster so I can kite a little bit easier. And I do believe that's all the chests on this level, so we're going to head back over to that teleporter. And as you can see in the top right corner there, we're at 6 minutes and 10 seconds, and the difficulty has advanced to easy instead of very easy. So if this keeps up, the game is going to get pretty ridiculous pretty quickly. And what the difficulties mostly do is the number of enemies that spawn increases, their health increases, and the damage they do increases. So basically everything is harder at the same time. It gets pretty crazy. But let's move on to the next level. The levels themselves are really unique from each other. Like, as you can see, we were on the beach just now, and now we're in the damp caverns, and it looks a lot different. The art and sounds and music that play are just vastly different on each level, and it's really cool, really fun experience. But one thing I don't like is the bosses don't seem to be unique per the zone, and you know, that would be fine, but like more often than not, I'll fight like the magma worm on the first zone, and then I'll fight him again on the second zone, and then I'll fight him again on the third zone, and it's like, I just beat a magma worm. Here he is again, see? Let's speak of the devil, but like, he's my least favorite boss, and it seems like I fight him all the goddamn time, and it's just so frustrating. I'd like to experience some of the other boss fights again, but it seems like the game is just dead set on me always fighting magma worm. And it's just upsetting. I take so much damage from magma worm because I just like don't really know how to dodge his attack. I mean, I guess I could like blink right before he gets there, but sometimes the cooldown's not up by the time he attacks again. And it's just, I don't know, man. It's just so frustrating fighting the same boss over and over again. But we are gonna kill him this time, pretty easily, in fact, thanks to that shattered mirror, which creates the clone. It seems to do a lot of damage to magma worm, just because my attacks in general do a lot of damage, but doing 2 at a time, it's like half the amount of time it takes to kill him. So, oh, I missed that that shot right there. It's pretty hard to aim when the magma worm kind of jumps in the air like that. That's another reason why I don't like him. He just kind of has the weirdest pathing, and that one just like wasn't even close. But as you can see, there's a lot of guys up here right now, so if I go up there, I'm probably gonna die. I'm gonna have to do some tricky maneuvering or something in order to kill all those guys. But magma worm's dead. We pick up the energy cell, attack faster at low health. Okay, that'll probably come in handy now, since I'm almost dead, because I walked up there like an idiot. But we'll kind of look around a bit, try to find some more chests to maybe get a little bit stronger. I'm definitely not good at this game, as you can tell. I would have died already if it wasn't for this character, just because I wouldn't be able to shoot while running, and I would kind of get impatient, and I'd probably just kind of turn around to shoot and end up killing myself. But man, like, the enemies in this game do so much damage, and this character in particular has less health than a lot of the other characters, just because she can kind of, you know, kite enemies, so she's not supposed to get hurt as much. But, you know, when you're bad at a game, you get hit a lot, and you don't really compensate for having really good abilities. You just kind of get hit anyways. So, I haven't really learned how to kite effectively yet, I guess. But I'm not that bad. Maybe I'm kind of downplaying my ability a little bit, but I do feel like I'm awful at this game. I mean, I've only beat it once, and that was with a friend. I've never actually beaten it solo. I don't know if the game actually gets more difficult when you play with friends, but it's difficult in the sense that you split the gold you find, and, you know, of course, you're not going to have as many items because you have to share the items with your friends, unless you're an asshole and you just take them all. But then you're probably not going to get far because your friend's just going to die, and then you're going to be alone. And then why not just play single player? I mean, you play multiplayer for the experience and for the excitement of having someone there with you. Why fuck that person over? But if that's what you like to do, I mean, don't let me talk you out of it. Play the game how you want to. So these are gonna be the last 4 enemies, and I'd hate to leave this floor with 400 gold, because you don't actually keep gold when you go to next floors. It actually just all gets converted into XP when you leave, and not very much XP either. It's not like, oh, 400 gold, I'll level up off this. I probably won't even get like a third of the bar, not even a fourth of the bar, really. So it's definitely not worth just having all this money left over. That being said, I just used a lot of it. I picked up another drone. This one's an attack drone. It's going to shoot little machine gun bullets at all my enemies. And then I picked up the prison shackles, which slow enemies that I hit. Not the best item, but it definitely helps kite the enemies a little bit. I can't get up there because apparently I jump like a child. I was going to go something racist there, but that's not cool, man. Snake Eyes! Critical hit chance after failing a shrine. So I've only showed you guys shops and chests in order to get items. And bosses, I guess, but there's actually 2 more different ways to get items with your money, and the first one is a shrine, which is a lot cheaper than a chest, but it only has a chance to give you an item every time you use it, and every time you use it, the price actually doubles. So say the first time it's 17, you use it, you don't get an item, then you the next time it's gonna be like 38, I guess, or something. That's not double. So I guess it just increases by an arbitrary amount every time. But, you know, those are, if you get something the first, like, 1 or 2 plays, then it's worth it, but it gets to the point where it becomes absolutely not worth it because you're spending so much money. So we're gonna rush the teleporter right here. It's a good thing we found it this early. As you can see, the difficulty's already at medium, so I do kind of need to hurry up if I don't want to get screwed, because I'm not getting that many items. And here's another boss. This one's actually kind of fun, the Imp Overlord. He kind of teleports every now and then, and he shoots, like, that laser beam, which is really cool. I've only fought him, I think, twice, because all my playthroughs so far have just been goddamn magma worms, but I really enjoy the other fights that aren't magma worms a lot more. I don't know if it's just because I've played them less, but they're definitely a lot more entertaining for me. And as you can see, this is the kind of undersea level. I don't know why they're all healing, but I need to kill whatever's healing them. Is it that... I think it might be that seashell monster. I'm gonna try to deal with that. Okay, and I'm dead. So, that's how fast things can kind of go to shit. It gives you a little detailed screen right here, like, oh, level 9, and then it gives you kind of points to kind of score attack against your friends, I guess. But let's try again. That only lasted 13 minutes. I don't feel very confident with that. Actually, let's exit out to the main menu, and we'll use a different character just so you can see how different the characters are. But yeah, I'm having a lot of fun with this game. I definitely think it's worth the $10 that they're asking for it. I'd even pay like 15, maybe. I wouldn't pay 20 for it. I'd pay 15 for it. I do think it has a lot of replayability, and it's just it's really well put together. All the items seem to provide different effects. You know, there's no 2 items that really do the same thing, and all the characters are really different. Let's use the Enforcer. I really like him a lot too. So his we'll go over his abilities. He has a shorter, or that was his ultimate. Let's forget you saw that. He has a shorter range kind of shotgun move. His crowd control is a shield bash. Oh, well, this is his defensive move. I forgot, you know, what all the controls did on my controller for a second, but we'll kind of bring these guys over here. His defensive move kind of plants him down, and he just blocks all the attacks coming from the front. And that was his defensive, or his crowd control move I just used. It's his shield bash. It just kind of knocks everybody back like that. And the cool thing about this guy is his fire rate increases when he's in his kind of planted state. So not only does he block all the frontal attacks, but he also kind of gets stronger. He can shoot faster. And his ultimate is this kind of grenade that he launches, and it does a considerable amount of damage. So with this guy, I'm probably gonna play a little bit worse, just because I'm used to being able to move while I'm shooting, and I can't do that anymore. As you can see, if I'm moving this way, I have to shoot this way, and same goes for that direction. I can't kind of shoot in the opposite direction. So I have to kind of get into the mindset of that I can't do that anymore, and that's probably gonna take me a little bit, but we'll look for the teleporter as fast as we can so we can kind of progress to the next zone again. And you've pretty much seen all there is to this game. I mean, it might look kind of, I don't know, shallow? I don't want to say shallow because it probably looks really, really deep, but it might look boring, I guess? I don't know if it looks boring. I've never watched someone play this game. I've just played it for myself. But I can assure you that it's not boring. It's got very deep mechanics with all the items and the characters and just all the enemies in general. There's so many different enemy types that you have to keep track of. Like, this fire guy shoots the little fire blast that you can jump over, but sometimes there's bigger ones and you can't jump over them anymore. There's a lot to keep track of. And, yeah, I'm going to be playing this game for quite a long time. I don't know if I'm going to make a little mini-series out of it. I might actually make one with my friend I'm playing with. So this is the shrine I'm talking about. I just used it once for 17, and now it costs 28, and I don't really want to do that. I want to wait till I get enough to open a chest so I have a guaranteed item. But yeah, I might make a little mini-series out of this with my friend, and I don't know, I'm enjoying it. Here's, we're gonna take out Colossus in kind of a cheesy way. He actually can't get behind me, when I'm planted, so I'm actually kind of immune to him right now. He's also in range of my shots, so I can kind of just shoot him from this far, and he's not really moving. I don't know if he's being dumb or if he just kind of glitched out, but this is going to be a very easy boss fight for us. And you know, as long as it's not Magma Worm, I'm happy. I just hate fighting Magma Worm. Simply because I've done it so many times, I guess. So that's that boss fight dead. And this is gonna be a fun item. All your attacks explode. So let's see if we can use that down here. I'm gonna get to the edge of this, plant. Oh, I planted myself in the wrong direction, no! Oh my god, I'm already dead. That was the dumbest mistake I could have made. My plan was to go to the edge of that boardwalk, then plant myself facing them so they can't get behind me, and then just kind of shoot them all with the explosive bullets and, you know, do a lot of damage to the group. But that didn't work because I planted myself in the wrong direction like a goddamn moron. So I guess I'll show you one more character since this video is, like, not as long as I thought it would be yet. We'll go with... I don't want to show you guys the Commando because he's the only character you have unlocked by default. So, if you actually purchase the game, this is going to be the character you're playing a lot, and I don't really want to show you and kind of ruin that for you. I want it to be new when you guys play it. So, maybe Engineer. I mentioned before that I don't like Engineer, and yeah, I don't like Engineer. I played him for about maybe 5 minutes, and I was just like, no, we got to start over. I don't like this guy. But, you know, maybe my opinion will change. His kind of spam shoot move is these 3 grenades that... I love the noise they make, but they don't really do damage, and that kind of upset me. And, see, look at that. Like, I'm having trouble fighting the weakest character in the game, but his, he doesn't have an evasive move or a defensive move. Instead, he shoots those 4 heat-seeking missiles, which I have to admit do a lot of damage, but I don't have a defensive move. That kind of scares me. And then his, crowd control move is just kind of these these mines that explode when enemies walk on top of them. And, you know, that's not really crowd control either, so this character kind of, I guess, breaks the meta and kind of lone wolfs out of the cookie-cutter skill association, I guess. And his ultimate plants a sentry gun, which I will do after I activate this teleporter, because a whole bunch of enemies are going to start spawning, and the sentry gun, I think, will help me a lot with the enemies that spawn. I'm also going to plant a whole bunch of... That's not the button I wanted to push. A whole bunch of mines here, and great, we have fucking Magma Worm. So, I mean, that's like, what, 2 out of 4 bosses that we've seen over the course of this video is Magma Worm. That's pretty proof positive that it's the most seen boss. I don't know, at least for me. So Engineer seems to be able to do a lot of damage very quickly, but then he has, like, his cooldowns are absurd. These mines, like, each mine takes 4 seconds to cool down, and then you get 1, and I think it stacks, like, you could soar up to 10, or maybe 9 before they won't stack anymore. So it's in your best interest to kind of use them when you're at cap. But I just mean they don't do that much damage, and they explode so quickly. Like, you can't really save up a full stack. I don't know. Maybe I'm just playing him incorrectly. It's entirely possible that this is, like, the best character in the game, and I just have absolutely no idea what I'm doing. But I did unlock him rather recently, and I was like, yeah, I gotta try Engineer, he seems cool, and then I was just like, no, I don't like him at all. So, he seems to do a lot of damage to Magma Worm, though, with his little grenades. Okay, so I killed Magma Worm, and then I died. So, that's Engineer. I just don't like him at all. I don't know. I might as well go through the rest of the characters that I've unlocked since I've gone this far. I won't go through Commando because that is the default character, so I will leave him. But we'll go through Bandit and then Sniper. Bandit, I unlocked for doing something in the water level, I think. I have actually no idea how I unlocked this guy, but his normal shot is kind of like a, I don't know, cool rifle thing that actually does a lot of damage, and you can shoot it pretty quickly. So it's actually probably my favorite, like, spammy move. His dodge ability, or his defensive ability, he just kind of runs really fast and turns invisible, which works incredibly well with items like barbed wire, which hurts enemies that you touch, and it really gets you out of sticky situations, although the cooldown is really long for it. So I don't know, I guess positive and negative risk reward type of thing going on. And then his crowd control ability is this kind of grenade that knocks people back. It actually does a considerable amount of damage too. He's a pretty cool character. And then that was his ultimate. It does, I think, double damage of my normal ability. But the cool thing is, if you last hit an enemy with it, if you get the killing blow with it, here, I'll show you. If you get the killing blow with it, it doesn't go on cooldown, and you can just use it over and over again. And it's actually really powerful. So let's try to find the teleporter again. We'll see how far we can get with this guy. Oops. Let's move a little bit faster. Okay, so sometimes, because the levels of where the items are placed is kind of procedurally generated, I guess, or randomized, whatever word we use or whatever word is correct. Sometimes you get stuff like this, where all 3 items are stacked onto one buy event, and it actually does give you one of the items. It only gives you one, but it charges you for all of them. So you actually end up, if you don't have, let me see if I can do it right here. Just kind of make explaining easier. Alright, I don't think it didn't happen right there, so that's good. Last time that happened to us, my friend purchased it, and it actually gave him negative money. So he was actually in debt, and he had to collect money. And as he collected money, he kind of got back up to 0 before he could actually start collecting money again. And it just seemed like a really weird bug. But it looks like they fixed it, or maybe that was a very specific, isolated event. But no need to worry about it anymore, I guess. So the one kind of annoying thing is you never really know where the teleporter is. So sometimes it takes forever to find it. Like, okay, mortar, chance to launch a mortar. What that does is if I hit an enemy, sometimes I'll actually shoot a mortar as well. Like that, there it is. So it actually does, wow, I'm getting a lot of procs now, but it does a lot of damage, and it helps kind of control the enemy situation a lot if you're fighting a big group of enemies. So we'll keep looking for the teleporter here. I guess it's going to be on the left side, since I kind of explored the entire right side. There is fall damage in this game, and it can screw you over pretty hard if you're not careful. But, I mean, I guess if you are careful, you don't even have to worry about it. Oh, okay, so I need to get over there. How do I get over there? That's actually the last type of item get device that I can show off. So we're going to go up there and try to see if we can use it successfully. Hopefully successfully. I mean, we'll definitely be able to use it, but I hope I don't just waste 20 or however much it cost. Yeah, 20. So we'll kill these before we start this. So what this does is, this is an imp shrine. What it does is it summons imps, and you have to kill it within the time limit. You have to kill all of the imps within the time limit in order to get the item as the reward. And we did that pretty easily, and we get the crowbar. Deal bonus damage to healthy monsters. So this is actually a really good item. It drops off, obviously, but it's like it's pretty much, it deals bonus damage based on the percentage of health they have compared to their maximum health. So it's really good coupled with the item that gives you bonus damage based on how low the enemies are. I think if you have both those items together, you're pretty much golden. But I can't seem to find the teleporter. I don't know where it is. Maybe it's up there, I guess. This is embarrassing. One way the items do work in this game is if you get more than one of the same item, the effectiveness stacks. So you can... okay, I don't think I've been up here. So, like, if you get one barbed wire, say, it does 12 damage to enemies around you that you touch, and if you get 2, it'll do 24, and it'll just keep going up. That's why the longer you kind of spend gathering items, the better off you are against harder enemies. You'll deal more damage and just be kind of more effective in general. So the teleporter's not up here, it's just an item. Chance to bleed on hit, rusty blade. Where's the goddamn teleporter? Okay, this is frustrating. I did check all the way to the right, I believe. I'm gonna buy this. This is my favorite item in the game, the war banner. When you level up, it drops a war banner, in the spot that you leveled up, and it gives you a health regen, increased speed, increased shot speed, and increased damage. And so basically, if like there's a horde of enemies headed towards you, and you pop that, you could just sit in the war banner and just destroy people. Okay, so it was all the way at the bottom, all the way to the right. So that's a little bit unfortunate. I wasted a lot of time looking for it, but yeah. Okay, so Wandering Vagrant, we fought this the first time. So I guess Magma Worm isn't the most seen boss we fought this this video anymore, but you know, maybe I can't be right about everything. I'm actually mostly wrong about everything 90% of the time, but it would have been nice to be right about the whole Magma Worm spawns more than other bosses thing, but oh well. I'm actually kind of glad that we're not fighting Magma Worm again. I don't know why I'm complaining, like, oh, Magma Worm, I hate fighting him. Okay. I almost killed myself to fall damage there. I'm actually surprised I didn't. But this is what I meant by I'll have to get used to not being able to run and shoot anymore, because I am just kind of stopping and taking massive damage to shoot. Hopefully we'll make it out of this boss fight. I probably won't make it out of this zone, but I just want to beat this boss. Come on. No! No! There we go. Had to use my special there. Okay, so this is the war banner I was talking about. See how I'm regenerating health, and look at how fast I shoot inside of this thing. It's just absolutely ridiculous. This is why I like it so much, but we'll leave it so we can kind of fight all the remaining enemies and not waste our time here. But yeah, I hope going through as all these different characters kind of shows off how different they are. I know at its core, this game is still just kind of running around shooting enemies, but I really feel like the enemy or the characters are different enough to kind of, I don't know, give the game a lot of variety. I'm probably just gonna die here. I can't see how to beat this without actually dying. Just kidding. I could just fly up on this over and over again. Maybe throw a couple grenades. This is actually working nice. I could have actually just landed here and not wasted all my time. But you know, playing different characters, I gotta develop different strategies. Oh fuck, we let an imp go. No! Come back here. There we go. So we got another fire shield. We got that in our first run, I think. I don't think I've ever seen it used, but we won't ask questions. We'll accept the fact we got an item. And I'll just kind of blow my way through these remaining enemies, trying to make it to the next zone. This is a lot more fun with friends. I will say that. Like, the single player experience is good enough. You know, it's very stressful sometimes when you're like, oh, I'm the only one I can rely on, and you have to kind of run through hordes of enemies trying to not die. But with friends, it's like both of you are doing that at the same time, and it feels a lot more fulfilling, I guess, to struggle with a friend rather than to just struggle by yourself. Okay, so I'm dead again. I thought I would be able to shoot fast enough to kill both those guys before they hit me once, and I was wrong. So back to main menu. I don't think I'm gonna play as the sniper. Instead, I'll just kind of show you some of these logs and stuff. So it does keep track of all the items you've ever received in the game, and like, I don't think I've received that yet, or that. But the locked items you'll have, they're kind of like behind an achievement wall. So you have to like achieve 20 consecutive perfect reloads as the sniper, and then you'll be able to find this item in your gameplay. Kind of like the Binding of Isaac, how you do the challenges and you unlock like the blue candle and stuff like that. This is kind of the similar idea, except you could do them just on the normal playthrough mode. And you can actually click on the items and it tells you exactly what they do. I didn't know that. That's really nice. So you can, like, maybe you picked up an item one round and you were like, oh, I don't know what this does. Like, I actually don't know what this does. Kills grant fire trail, 5% movement speed, and 1 damage for 6 seconds. Okay, so that's pretty cool. I do believe these items down here only drop off the boss they're associated with, but I'm not entirely sure on that. Don't quote me on that. but I have only received this item, Burning Witness, from the magma worm. Yeah, see, found by killing a giant magma worm. So maybe that's how the yellow highlighted items work. But in any case, there's also a monster log. You pick up little monster ID files, and it shows you kind of like their biography, I guess. It's pretty cool. They did a lot of cool stuff with this game, and the whole thing's just really enjoyable. As you can see, I've played the most as Commando because he's the first character you have, and we played like 20 times before we actually unlocked a new character. This game is hard, so I don't know. And I like hard games, so maybe that's why I like this. It's just so unforgiving, really. If you fuck up once, you're gonna die, and it doesn't care. It just expects you to grin and bear it. But that kind of concludes my my, I don't know, look at Risk of Rain. I really like it. I would really recommend that you at least check this game out. You know, consider buying it. Maybe wait for a sale if you're not into action platformers. But I do think everyone should at least try it. It's a very rewarding and exciting experience, especially if you have friends. One thing to note, if you do have friends that want to play, you do have to host the game. So you do have to forward some ports, and most of the time that's not really a problem, you know, just go into your router and forward the ports, but some people don't really. I guess you could use Hamachi as well, but port forwarding, not that big of a deal, but you will have to do it. So yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching. Feel free to give me a like or subscribe to the channel if you like this type of content. If not, that's cool, just move on, check out you know, a better channel, I guess. And you know, thanks for putting up with me. I know I'm probably not the best at this, but I'm trying to get better, you know. So if you have any tips about the game, I guess, feel free to leave them in the comments below. If you have anything you want me to do in the game, like, oh, you should do a run as an engineer because you hate it so much, you know, throw those suggestions in the comments below as well. And that's about it. I'll see you next time.